Hello everyone, today I want to say a story about a hungry mouse. There was once a small mouse who lived under the old blue cupboard in a quiet kitchen. His name was Nib. But everyone called him the hungry mouse. They called him this because he was always hungry. When he woke up, he was hungry. When he played, he was hungry. When he fell asleep, he even dreamed about food. He dreamed of round cheese, warm bread, crunchy nuts, and sweet rice. Nib lived alone, but he was not lonely. The kitchen was full of sounds and smells. In the morning, the kettle sang. The little window let in soft light. The floor was cool and smelled like soap. On a high shelf, there was a big glass jar full of rice. On the table, there was a basket with bread. And in the fridge, there was a special cheese wrapped in paper. Nib knew about all these things. He knew where crumbs fell and where small pieces of rice hid under the stove. He knew how to run in the shadows so no one could see him. One cool evening, Nib woke up with a loud growl in his belly. "Oh dear," he said, holding his stomach. "I must find food. I must. He cleaned his whiskers, stretched his tiny legs, and listened. The house was quiet. The clock ticked. The wind whispered at the window. It was a good time to search. Nib ran across the floor and climbed the leg of the table. On the table, he found a dry bread crumb. He ate it in one bite. It was not enough. He sniffed the air. He could smell something warm and rich. It was the cheese in the fridge. He could not open the fridge. He knew that. So he climbed down and went to the counter. There he found a small drop of milk. He licked it. The drop was sweet and cold, but still his stomach growled. "Why am I always hungry?" Nib asked the moonlight that lay on the floor like a silver blanket. The moonlight did not answer, but another sound did. From behind the fruit basket came a soft rustle. Nib turned his head. A thin, gray tail moved, then a small face peeped out. "Hello," said the new mouse. "My name is Lila." Nib blinked in surprise. He had not seen another mouse in weeks. "Hello, Lila," he said. "I am Nib. I am the hungry mouse." Lila laughed a little. "You are hungry? Me too. Maybe we can search together." Nib felt shy, but also happy. "Yes," he said. "Two noses are better than one." They searched the kitchen side by side. They found a dry raisin under a chair. It was hard, but sweet. They shared it. They found a bit of apple skin behind the trash bin. They shared that too. Then they found a long noodle on the stove. It was stuck to the pan. Nib pulled, and Lila pulled, and at last the noodle came free. They ate until the noodle was gone. For a moment, Nib's stomach was quiet. He sighed with joy. "Thank you," he said to Lila. "Food tastes better when we share." Lila nodded. "And searching is easier when we help each other." From that night, Nib and Lila became friends. They searched together each evening. They learned new paths in the kitchen. They learned the best times to move. They learned that the humans liked to bake bread on Fridays, and that many crumbs fell on those days. They learned that when the window was open, birds sometimes dropped seeds on the floor. The seeds were small, but very good. One day, when the air was warm and the sun was bright, the humans left a bag of rice on the counter. The bag had a tiny tear in the corner. A soft stream of rice fell out and made a little white hill. Nib's eyes shone. Lila held her paws to her mouth. "This is a feast," Nib whispered. They ran to the hill and filled their cheeks. They carried rice to their homes and came back again and again. They worked carefully, a little bit at a time, so no one would see the small trail of rice grains moving across the floor. Nib's heart was full. He had more food than he had ever had before. He felt safe. But that night, when the house was quiet, Nib woke to a new smell. It was not food. It was danger. It smelled like metal and oil and something sharp. He crept out and saw a small, shiny trap on the floor near the rice bag. It had a bit of cheese inside it. The cheese looked soft and perfect. Nib's mouth watered. His belly said, "Eat." His feet stepped forward. Then he heard Lila whisper, "Wait." Nib stopped. Lila stood beside him. Her whiskers were straight and still. "I know this thing," she said. "It is not a gift. It is a trap." Nib stared at the cheese. He could almost taste it. He could almost feel it melting on his tongue. "But I am so hungry," he said. "I am hungry too," Lila said. "But we must be smart. Hunger can lead us into danger. We need to think, not just feel." Nib looked at the trap again. He took a deep breath. "You are right," he said. "We will not touch it." Together they turned away and went to the far corner of the kitchen. There they found a safe crumb of bread and a few grains of rice that had rolled away from the bag. They ate slowly. Nib felt proud. He had listened to his friend. He had chosen safety over quick food. He was still the hunger mouse, but now he was also a careful mouse. After that, Nib tried to change his ways. When he felt a strong hunger, he would stop and count to 10. 1, 2, 3. He would ask himself, "Is this safe? Is this wise? Can I share this with Lila?" Sometimes the answer was yes. Sometimes it was no. When the answer was no, he would wait. He would drink water and rest. He learned that hunger comes in waves. It rises, then it falls. If he waited a little, the hard part would pass, and he could think clearly again. One rainy afternoon, the humans cooked a big pot of soup. The smell filled the whole kitchen. It smelled like carrots, onions, and chicken. Nib and Lila hid and watched. The humans set bowls on the table. They laughed and talked. A piece of bread fell to the floor. Later, when the room was empty, Nib ran out to get it. But then he saw something else. A small blue bowl had been placed near the cupboard, close to where Nib lived. The bowl had a few seeds and a piece of apple inside. Beside it, there was a sticky note with a smile drawn on it. Lila came to his side. "Do you think it is safe?" she asked. Nip sniffed the air. The bowl did not smell like a trap. It was just a bowl. The fruit smelled fresh. He remembered how careful the humans had been with the shiny trap. They had placed it to catch, not to feed. This bowl felt different. It felt kind. "Let's test it," Nip said. "Maybe," Nip said, surprised. His heart felt warm and wide. He had not known that humans could be gentle to mice. He had only known fear. But now, he learned something new. Not every hand is hard, and not every gift is a trick. From that day, the blue bowl appeared sometimes with safe food, little seeds, a grape cut in half, a small corner of bread. Nib and Lila still searched the kitchen, but they did not need to take risks. They ate slowly. They cleaned their whiskers. They played simple games with bottle caps and threads. They made a tiny bed from a soft sock they found behind the washing machine. They rested together, and Nib's dreams were softer now. He did not only dream about food. He dreamed about safety. He dreamed about friends. One night, Lila said, "Nib, you are not just the hunger mouse anymore." "What am I, then?" he asked. "You are the helper mouse," she said. "You share. You wait. You think. You help me be brave." Nip smiled and looked at his small paws. They were the same paws he had always had. But what they did was different now. They did not rush to grab. They reached out to share. Later that summer, a young mouse came to the kitchen. He was thin and shaking. His name was Pip. His eyes were big, and he was afraid of every sound. Nip gave him a grain of rice. Lila gave him half a seed. They showed him the safe paths, the quiet times, and the blue bowl. They taught him how to count to 10 when the hunger felt too strong. Pip listened. He ate. He rested. In time, his fear became smaller. On a bright morning, Nip sat under the window and watched the light dance on the floor. He thought about his first nights alone, when hunger was a storm inside him. He thought about Lila's voice saying, "Wait." He thought about the blue bowl, the kind note, the soft sock bed, and their small mouse family. "I am still hungry sometimes," Nip said to the sunlight. "But I am not only hungry. I am also thankful." The sunlight warmed his fur. Lila and Pip came to sit beside him. The three mice were quiet for a while. They listened to the kettle sing and the birds talk outside. In that simple, warm moment, Nip felt full, not just in his stomach, but in his heart. And from then on, when the house was still and the night was gentle, the hunger mouse did what he always did, he searched. But now he searched with care. He shared what he found. He helped the small and learned from the wise. He was still Nib, the little mouse under the old blue cupboard. Only now, he knew a secret. Sometimes the best way to feed a hungry life is with patience, kindness, and friends.